Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraya Nashtaprayeshu Vadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttam Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. So continuing with the discussion on Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 8, Chapter 22, Bali Maharaj surrenders his life, text 10 onwards. Itham sa nishchitya pita maho mahana gada bodho bhakta pad padmam dhruvam pravedehi akuto bhayam janada bhita swapaksha kshabnasya sattama. My grandfather, the best of all men, who achieved unlimited knowledge and was worshipable for everyone, was afraid of the common man in this world. Being fully convinced of the substantiality afforded by shelter at your lotus feet, he took shelter of your lotus feet against the will of his father and demoniac friends who were killed by your own self. So Bali Maharaj is glorifying Prahlad Maharaj. And basically he's saying, I am afraid of committing any offense against a Brahman. I don't want to be a liar against a Brahman. Atham api atmari postavantikam daivena nita prasabham tyajati shrihi idam kritantanti kavarti jivitam yaya dhruvam stabdha matirna buddhyate. Only by providence have I been forcibly brought under your lotus feet and deprived of all my opulence. Because of the illusion created by temporary opulence, people in general who live under material conditions, facing accidental death at every moment, do not understand that this life is temporary. Only by providence have I been saved from that condition. It is true, this life is temporary and we are facing death at any moment, every moment. But we still are busy in collecting more and more and more. Bali Maharaj appreciated the actions of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, although all the members of the demoniac families, except Prahlad Maharaj and Bali Maharaj, considered Vishnu the eternal traditional enemy. As described by Bali Maharaj, Lord Vishnu was actually not the enemy of the family, but the best friend of the family. The principle of this friendship has already been stated. Yasyam anugranami harishye taddanam shalaya. The Lord bestows special favor upon his devotee by taking away all his material opulences. Bali Maharaj appreciated this behavior by the Lord. Therefore he said, Devena Nita Prasabham Tyajita Shri. It is to bring me to the right platform of eternal life that you have put me into these circumstances. But to come to that understanding, one needs to be very high in consciousness. Otherwise, people just blame the Lord, blame everybody else except their own karma. Actually, everyone should fear the so-called society, friendship, and love for which he works so hard all day and night. As indicated by Bali Maharaj, by the words, Janada Bhita, every devotee in Krishna consciousness should always be afraid of the common man engaged in pursuing material prosperity. Such a person is described as Pramatta, a madman chasing the will of the wisp. Such men do not know that after a hard struggle for life, one must change his body with no certainty of what kind of body he will receive next. Those who are completely established in Krishna consciousness philosophy and who therefore understand the aim of life will never take to the activities of the materialistic dog race. So metallurgistic dog race. Once Prabhupada went to the Ford factory, the car manufacturer. So they took him to the track where they test these cars at a very high speed. So the cars are going and at very high zoom, 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 they're going at high speed. And Prabhupada later said, I don't know, he said it at that time or he said it later. He said, these drivers or people in the car are going on 4 wheels and dog is running on 4 legs. What's the difference? Means if we are not going for the goal of life, then what's the difference? Just because we have high speed cars, we can go to the place of sense gratification faster than a dog, but the basic aim is the same, sense gratification, that's all. So this is what Prabhupada is saying, that a devotee will never take to the activities of the materialistic dog race. Means, yes, whatever work we have to do, job, business, whatever, howsoever we have to make money, yes, one should. But not more than what is required and not lose the life just to make money more and more and more. If a sincere devotee somehow falls down, the Lord corrects him and saves him from gliding down to the darkest region of hellish life. That's a mercy of the Lord on a devotee. The materialistic way of life is nothing but the repeated chewing of that which has already been chewed. Although there is no profit in such a life, people are enamored of it because of uncontrolled senses. Nunam pramatta kurute vikarama. Because of uncontrolled senses, people fully engage in sinful activities by which they get a body full of suffering. Bali Maharaj appreciated how the Lord had saved him from such a bewildered life of ignorance. He therefore said that his intelligence had been stunned. Stabda matirna buddhyate. He could not understand how the Supreme Personality of Godhead favors his devotees by forcibly stopping their materialistic activities. But this is the Lord. This is the mercy of the Lord. This is how he does it. And there's another reason for him to do it in this way, which seems for the non-devotees, it seems very troublesome. And look at devotees, how much hardship they have to go through and this and that. And the reason is the Lord wants to keep the people who have no faith in devotional service, who have no faith in devotees, who have no faith in the Lord, just to screen them out. Only devotees can understand the activities of the Lord. The demons cannot. So look at all the demons. Bali Maharaj was captured and all the demons got together and they wanted to attack the Lord and the devotees. So Bali Maharaj had to send them away. Go away. Our time is not right. So wait for the right time. He could not preach to them. They did not even understand. Bali Maharaj got so much of mercy of the Lord. They should also bow down at Lord's lotus feet and get the mercy. But this was not their plan. So not everybody can understand mercy of the Lord. Shri Shukavacha Tasyetam Bhashanam Anasya Prahada Bhagavad Vriya Ajagama Kuru Shreshta Raka Patir Ivothitaham. Shukdev Goswami said, O best of the Kurus, while Bali Maharaj was describing his fortunate position in this way, the most dear devotee of the Lord, Prahlad Maharaj, appeared there like the moon rising in the night time. So Prahlad Maharaj came, and now Prahlad Maharaj is not a little boy like we studied about him and the Nrsimhadev Leela. He is the grandfather of Bali Maharaj. And so he appeared on the scene. Tamindra Sena Swapitamaham Shriya Virajamanam Nalinayate Kshanam Pranshum Vishangambaram Anjanat Visham Pralamba Bahum Shubh Garshab Amakshata. Then Bali Maharaj saw his grandfather, Prahlad Maharaj, the most fortunate personality, whose dark body resembled black ointment for the eyes. His tall, elegant figure was dressed in yellow garments. He had long arms, and his beautiful eyes were like the petals of a lotus. He was very dear and pleasing to everyone. तस्मै बलिर्वारुण पाशयन्त्रितः समर्हणं नोपजहार पूर्ववत् ननाम मूर्धना अश्रु विलोललोचनः सव्रीड नीचीन मुखो बभूवः. Being bound by the ropes of Varuna, Bali Maharaj could not offer befitting respect to Prahlad Maharaj as he had before. Rather, he simply offered respectful obeisances with his head, his eyes being inundated with tears and his face lowered in shame. Since Bali Maharaj had been arrested by Lord Vamandev, he was certainly to be considered an offender. Bali Maharaj seriously felt that he was an offender to the Supreme Personality of God. Certainly, Prahlad Maharaj would not like this. Therefore, Bali Maharaj was ashamed and hung his head. This is another quality of devotees. They're so humble, they always think it was their fault. Although they got the mercy of the Lord, but Bali Maharaj saying it was his fault, that he could not complete his vow. Satatra hasinam udikshya satapatim harim sunanda dya anu gyaru pasitam upetya bhumo shirsa mahamana nanam murdhana pulakashru viklavaha. When the great personality Prahlad Maharaj saw that the Supreme Lord was sitting there, surrounded and worshipped by his intimate associates like Sunanda, he was overwhelmed with tears of jubilation. Approaching the Lord and falling to the ground, he offered obeisances to the Lord with his head. Shri Prahaduvacha Tvayav Dattam Padmendra Murjitam Pretam Tadevadya Tatheva Shobhanam Manye Mahanasya Krito Hi Anugraho Vibhranshito Yachriya Atma Mohana. Prahlad Maharaj said, "My Lord, it is your Lordship who gave this Bali the very great opulence of the post of Heavenly King. And now today it is you who have taken it all away. I think you have acted with equal beauty in both ways, because his exalted position as King of Heaven was putting him in the darkness of ignorance. You have done him a very merciful favor by taking away all his opulence. As it is said, Yasyaham Anugrihnami, it is by the mercy of the Lord that one gets all material opulence. But if such material opulence causes one to become puffed up and forget the process of self-realization, the Lord suddenly takes away all the opulence. The Lord bestows mercy upon his devotee by helping him find out his constitutional position. For that purpose, the Lord is always ready to help a devotee in every way. But material opulence is sometimes dangerous because it diverts one's attention to false prestige by giving one the impression that he is the owner and master of everything he surveys. Although actually this is not the fact. To protect the devotee from such a misunderstanding, the Lord, showing special mercy, sometimes takes away his material possessions. So again and again this theme comes back. So this is his mercy on the devotee. His purpose, the Lord showing special mercy, sometimes takes away because if the material opulence is dangerous, because if it's diverting one's attention to false prestige, then the Lord doesn't like it. He doesn't want his devotees to continue in the material world. He wants them out of here. Yaya hi vidvanapi muyate yatas tatto vichaste gatimatmano yatha tasmai namaste jagadishwaraya ve narayanaya akhila loka sakshine. Material opulence is so bewildering that it makes even a learned, self-controlled man forget to search for the goal of self-realization. But the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Narayan, the Lord of the universe, can see everything by his will. Therefore, I offer my respectful obeisances unto him. The words ko vichaste gatim atmano yatha indicates that when one is puffed up by the false prestige of possessing material opulence, he certainly neglects the goal of self-realization. And that is true. People who are puffed up, material opulence is not wrong. Being puffed up because of that opulence, that takes away from the real goal of life. This is the position of the modern world. Because of so-called scientific improvements in material opulence, people have entirely given up the path of self-realization. Practically no one is interested in God, one's relationship with God, or how one should act. Modern men have altogether forgotten such questions because they are mad for material possessions. If this kind of civilization continues, the time will soon come when the Supreme Personality of Godhead will take away all the material opulences. Then people will come to their senses. So this looks like this pandemic was like an eye-opener for all of us. It's not worth it. Just collecting more and more and more and more. It's just not worth it. But now look at it, as soon as it's not over yet, but as soon as it's slowed down, people are back to their whatever business they were doing before. They've completely forgotten what happened in the last year and a half. And they just think of, oh, whoever died, they just died. Bad luck. Well, let's get on with our lives. Make more money, more money, more money. So then the Lord has to think of something else. Again, he will do something. And then again, people will stop for a while and then they again forget. This is how material world goes on. Shri Shukavacha Tasyanu Shanvato Rajan Brahadasya Kritanjale Hiranya Garbho Bhagwan Uvacha Madhusudanam. Shukdev Goswami continued, O King Parikshit, Lord Brahma then began to speak to the Supreme Personality of Godhead within the hearing of Prahlad Maharaj, who stood nearby with folded hands. So Lord Brahma also came there. Paddam Vikshapatim Sadri Tatpatnim Bhaya Vivala Pranjali Pranato Pendram Vavashe Avang Mukhi Nripa. But Bali Maharaj's chaste wife, what was her name? Vindhyavali, afraid and aggrieved at seeing her husband arrested, immediately offered obeisances to Lord Vamandev, Upendra. She folded her hands and spoke as follows. Although Lord Brahma was speaking, so previous verse we saw Lord Brahma was speaking, but Vindhyavali just started to speak. Although Lord Brahma was speaking, he had to stop for a while because Bali Maharaj's wife, Vindhyavali, was very agitated and afraid, wanted to say something. Shri Vindhyavali Ruvacha Kridarthamam Atman Idam Trijagat Kritam Te Swamyam Tu Jatra Kudiyo Par Ish Kuryuhu Kartuhu Prabhostav Kimyasyat Avahanti Tyakta Heyasva Tvad Avaropit Kartri Vada. Srimati Vindhyavali said, O my Lord, you have created the entire universe for the enjoyment of your personal pastimes. But foolish, unintelligent men have claimed proprietorship for material enjoyment. Certainly they are shameless agnostics. Falsely claiming proprietorship, they think that they can give charity and enjoy. In such a condition, what good can they do for you, who are the independent creator, maintainer, and annihilator of this universe? So this is our situation. We are shamelessly thinking that we can control or we can be the maintainer or enjoyer of the property of the opulence of this world, and everything actually belongs to the Supreme Lord. And when we understand this position, everything belongs to Him, He is enjoyer, proprietor, controller of everything, and I'm just his servant. And if he has given me something or whatever possessions I have, that's why we used to write on our books, in care of so and so. I'm not the owner. For some time, he has given me these things to take care of. That's all. And take care of means to be used in his service. Bali Maharaj's wife, who was most intelligent, supported the arrest of her husband and accused him of having no intelligence because he had claimed proprietorship of the property of the Lord. Such a claim is a sign of demoniac life. Although the demigods or officials appointed by the Lord for management are attached to materialistic enjoyment, they never claim to be the proprietors of the universe. For they know that the actual proprietor of everything is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is a qualification of the demigods. But the demons, instead of accepting the exclusive proprietorship of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, claim the property of the universe for themselves through demarcations of nationalism. This part is mine and that part is yours, they say. This part I can give in charity and this part I can keep for my enjoyment. These are all demoniac conceptions. This is described in Bhagavad Gita. Thus far, I have acquired so much money and land. Now I have to add more and more. In this way, I shall be the greatest proprietor of everything. Who can compete with me? These are all demoniac conceptions. But this is all in us. This demoniac conception, demoniac mentality, demoniac consciousness. This is what we have in ourselves. Demigods, as Prabhupada said, they also are attached to materialistic enjoyment. They are materialistic people, but they understand who's the Supreme Lord, who everything belongs to. So that way they are devotees. But the demons, they just want to enjoy themselves. And this is what Vindhyavali is saying. Bali Maharaj, he thought that he can give charity. Nothing belongs to him. How can he give any charity? Bali Maharaj's wife accused Bali Maharaj by saying that although the Supreme Personality of Godhead had arrested him, showing him extraordinary mercy, and although Bali Maharaj was offering his body to the Supreme Lord, the Lord's third step, he was still in the darkness of ignorance. Actually, the body did not belong to him, but because of his long-standing demonic mentality, he could not understand this. He thought that since he had been defamed for his inability to fulfill his promise of charity, and since the body belonged to him, he would free himself from defamation by offering his body. Actually, however, the body does not belong to anyone but the Supreme Personality of Godhead, by whom the body is given. So how can we say, I can give charity of this body? The Lord is situated in the core of everyone's heart, and according to the material desires of the living entity, the Lord offers a particular type of machine, the body, through the agency of the material energy. The body actually does not belong to the living entity, it belongs to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Under the circumstances, how could Bali Maharaj claim that the body belonged to him? Thus, Vindhyavali. So, when we say we should engage our body and the senses in the service of the Lord, they belong to the Lord. What we actually have to do is understand that this consciousness, thinking that I can be the enjoyer, or I am the enjoyer, I am the proprietor, I am controller, that has to be engaged in the service of the Lord. That has to be purified. And then we know everything belongs to the Lord, then everything should be used in the service of the Lord. Thus, Vindhyavali, Bali Maharaj's intelligent wife, prayed that her husband be released by the Lord's causeless mercy. Otherwise, Bali Maharaj was nothing but a shameless demon, specifically described as Tyakta Hriya Stad Avaropita Kartrivada. a foolish person claiming proprietorship over the property of the Supreme Person. In the present age, Kali Yuga, the number of such shameless men who are agnostics, disbelieving in the existence of God, has increased. Trying to defy the authority of the Supreme Personality of God, that so-called scientists, philosophers, and politicians manufacture plans and schemes for the destruction of the world. They cannot do anything good for the world. And unfortunately, because of Kali Yuga, they have plunged the affairs of the world into mismanagement, and is complete mismanagement. Thus, there is a great need for the Krishna consciousness movement for the benefit of innocent people who are being carried away by propaganda of such demons. If the present status quo is allowed to continue, people will certainly suffer more and more under the leadership of these demoniac agnostics. And as Prabhupada is mentioning, I mean, where demons say this part is mine and that part is yours. I mean, this country is mine and this is the borderline we have drawn, we have agreed to. So you don't cross over here and I don't go over there, but then there will be fight over a little island or little piece of land. The land was there before we were born. The land will be there after we are gone. Right now, we call different pieces of land as America and Canada and Russia. It was not always like that. Even just go 200 years back, 100 years back, it just had different names, all these boundaries. And now some boundaries have gone somewhere, merged somewhere, and some boundaries have gone somewhere. And we call it, oh no, this is what we're going to call it now. For how long? This is all temporary. Demoniac. This is what Prabhupada used to call it. This is demoniac. So anyway, we'll stop here. See anybody has any questions or comments. Okay, so we'll stop here. You all have a safe and wonderful day. Hare Krishna. Jai Shri Ram.